Hey, good morning, everybody. It's the 27th of May. I can't use the word happy Memorial Day because we're remembering people who died in defense of our country. So, appropriate, view of that is, I think, is wise. But it's a day off, a day of reflection, and I'm also looking at the markets and my obsession. And I want to show you the cues here. And I think what's happening here is we're starting to paint out a I think a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern here, and we have a left shoulder here, we have a head here, we have a shoulder here, and kind of a neckline here. But what's interesting to me is that this is our moneymaker indicator. And if you can see underneath here, that's like we call it the slingshot. Let me explain these really quick. So this is an algorithm that's looking at looking at different views of relative strength, and both up and down, and it flashes when we think there's a reversal here and there's interest coming into the stock or the index. And when you get a moneymaker buy, and then here's our slow stochastic. What I mean by slow is looking at it's a bigger look back period, so it tends to look at trends more than just the quick hit. Like if you had a 10, this is a 40, and a 10 will tell you, if you're jumping in and jumping out. So I like to look at the 40 here because it tells me whether or not if I'm going to be head faked or not. And so this is reset, so it's a tradable bottom, and then rode up here, and we would have normally sold here. Okay, bottom of the channel, and then you'd have had to scramble to get back in when it bounced again. Or if you follow this signal that we have, basically telling you just to stay strong. If you have that kind of courage. I wouldn't have had that courage. As soon as I got that signal, I would have bailed, and then look for a scramble to get back in. But this is another indicator too that I use, and I'm making a point here, so bear with me. And so this area here is the 60 line of stochastics. When this is embedded like this, likely don't short the market, or don't short the stock, or don't short the index. And I moved from 80 to 60 because of my experience. Until the world changes and we don't have such central bank liquidity pumping in every dip, then it can move up to 80. But if it stays above 60, you're still in pretty much a bull trend, and shorting the market tends to not work in your favor. So we had this channel coming up from Christmas, right? We got a buy here, could have sold here, maybe not. You'd have got back in again, probably when it crossed back over here. This is telling you don't short it. It ran again. You had another opportunity here. This actually here gave a moneymaker sell, and it gave a little tweak on a retracement, and you would have got back in here again. Another moneymaker with a slingshot. Slingshot's telling us that this move was too far too fast. It's a calculation that we've done that seems to work out pretty well, that the algorithms tend to bite on the dip with those. And this is a powerful signal. You would have ran it again to here, and then here to here, and then all of a sudden we started getting this into selling mode here. Stochastic dropped below 60, dropped to the bottom of the channel here, and then all of a sudden we got another signal, buy signal again. Now, this is opposite of this one here. We got this sell signal coming up, so now we got a sell signal with this buy signal, but you have to take the signal. Bottom of the channel, moneymaker, okay, crossing up, and then, okay, now we're going to go to new highs. But lo and behold, we're failing. And that tells you a lot, okay? And if you're trading this move, when it crossed back down over here, regardless of anything else, stochastics tell us what I would call enthusiasm for the trade. So if traders are in a bid mode, they're bidding it, and they're going to keep pushing it to the top half of any given candle. If they're not that enthusiastic about it, it's going to be the lower half of the candle, and that's what the stochastic is measuring. It's measuring high lows, and close, and in this look back period, and it's saying, hey, you know what? We're not that enthusiastic about this move. Now it's rolling back over. Now we got to watch here. Now we could easily bounce off of this and go, but at this point in time, you know, smart traders probably shorted this move here, and now putting pressure on the market. So we have to keep an eye on it. And you say, well, what's really involved here? And I think this is it right here. Okay, I think there's a lot of buzz now because we're basically decapitating, you know, Huawei. I don't know however we say it. Is we're decapitating them. You know, they stole all our technology to build a formidable competitor, and in some areas they're ahead of us. And then Trump basically come off at the knees, saying, you know, we're letting you know, enemy into our midst. They'll control our technology. They'll be able to hack our systems. Yada yada yada. Now this company's in big trouble. They need our chips, and now they're losing markets. So they're losing Australia. They're losing England. They're losing the United States. I think they probably lost Canada too with the trade row that's going on with them, and so now, you know, what leverage does China have? And so now there's a lot of rumbling out there is that, hey, maybe the Chinese are going to put pressure on Apple. Well, it matters to us in two areas. Number one, it matters because Apple's probably the most important component of most indexes, so it would cause probably a pretty sharp correction, but definitely in tech. And that seems to be where the war is. Our tech companies are so stupid, they bet the farm on China for their components, hoping to get into that market, and now it's coming back to bite them because of their dependency on China. So I think this is a big deal, and you know, the Chinese, they may pull the trigger, and they may try to suck up short term to see if they can get us to bend, but I think it'll affect the Qs, and it'll definitely affect SPY, and it'll definitely, you know, affect a lot of indexes that Apple's part of. So I think the Qs are probably going to fail, and that's going to cause a really interesting time. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I've been just reading this all weekend, and I said, let me pull up the Qs chart here. And so I looked at, okay, here's the top, here's the shoulder. We can come down about 163 area, maybe even a little farther. Maybe we come down to here and start rewinding and unwinding this move here. So anyway, just my thoughts on it. And if it does fail, then I'll look for a rebuy here if it crosses back up over the 15 line, and I'll be looking for another moneymaker or another slingshot to buy back in. Thanks for letting me ramble this morning. I have a lot more to talk about. I'll circle back with you guys as I put together these other videos. Have a great one. Bye-bye.